Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is EmbraceThePace, bringing you guys another video today, and as you can see, my 2016 off-season roster has now been released. I put it out about 20 minutes or so after the draft ended last night, and you guys really seem to be enjoying it. Thank you guys so much for staying up late and waiting for the roster to drop. It was absolutely insane. The moment that I tweeted out that the roster was out, the moment I released it, literally within 15 seconds, the tweet had over 40 retweets. The roster had over 100 downloads in less than a minute of it being out. It's now almost to 3,000 downloads, which is absolutely insane for only being out for 10 minutes or so, or not 10 minutes, 10 hours or so. So I really appreciate all the support, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Look forward to more updates and stuff in the future. So in this video, this is like the official release video. My previous video talked about a lot of the details, and I'll just very briefly go over some of the minor details, and if you want a more in-depth take on that stuff, you can watch my previous video, or you can click on the article on Operation Sports down in the description. I wrote an article on there, so if you would rather read about all the features of the roster, you can go do that there. So number one, obviously the biggest feature about this roster is that it does include all of the rookies. It includes almost all of the rookies, and basically what I mean by that is, as I'm watching the draft, there were only 2 players that were college players that I did not have created that were picked, and that was Daniel Hamilton, who I believe went 56th. I was so close to creating him a couple weeks ago, but he apparently did really bad at the combine and wasn't impressive in workouts, and I didn't see him projected to get drafted anywhere at all. So that was a little bit surprising that he got picked, but it was super late. I'm thinking about adding him in at a later date, but I highly doubt he's going to make a roster. And then Abdel Nader from Iowa State. He's the same situation. I didn't see him getting projected to get drafted at all. So I might add those guys. The other guys that aren't included, I don't have a list of them, but it's some of the European players, because this draft is going to go down in history as one of the biggest European drafts of all time. It was insane how many teams were taking draft and stash guys, and that had a lot to do with some teams having tons of picks. Like the Celtics had a ton of picks, the Sixers had a ton of picks, some other teams had a lot of picks. So obviously when you have that many picks and you're not trading them, you can't just draft a ton of guys that you think are going to be on your roster next year. So that's why there were a ton of European guys. A lot of those guys are in the game. They are in my roster, but some of them aren't, and some of them aren't on teams. So for example, Zhou Qi from China, he got drafted by the Rockets. He is in my roster. He's in the free agent pool. Same with Furkan Korkmaz with the Sixers, and Juan Hernan Gomez with the Nuggets. Some guys like that, they are in the free agent pool. So if you'd like to add them to the roster, you can, but I didn't add them because they're going to be staying overseas. Some other guys that got picked I didn't actually have created, and they're not in my roster right now. But Pete, as you guys know, he's helped me out with the roster last year. He does tendencies, and he's really good with European guys. He keeps up with that stuff, so he is going to be adding a lot of European guys this weekend, I believe, by Sunday. So you should be seeing them, and some of them will be in the free agent pool, as I said. There are also a couple players. I know Joel Bolomboy is one of them that is not on the Jazz because they don't have any free agents. Trevor Booker is literally their only free agent this year, so there isn't any roster space, and I don't want to remove guys that have contracts. So he is in the free agent pool. If you'd like to add him to the roster, you can go ahead and go for it, but those guys are in the free agent pool. So that's it for the Euro, guys. I also have a ton of undrafted free agents in the free agent pool. I can't even name them all. This stuff that you're seeing, the gameplay you're seeing in the background, is me just going through the roster. And once I finish the commentary, you'll see this is looking like a 15-minute video or so. It's not really going to be me talking for 15 minutes. I'm just going to continue to let it go so you guys can see a lot of the faces of these rookies. But a lot of undrafted free agents are in the free agent pool. And also Gary Payton and Ron Baker, I added them to their rosters because they did sign guaranteed deals. I believe Robert Carter did as well, but I haven't added him yet. From the time I'm recording this, but we'll have to see about that. A lot of these guys are going to get small guaranteed deals just for Summer League and not make the roster, so I don't want to be removing a ton of guys that actually have guaranteed deals or are free agents, so just because that would throw the roster out of balance, but that's a different topic. So that's it for that tendency revamp. all the tendencies have been revamped. Not every single player in the league, but we'll get to that point. Once, in the coming weeks, Pete is going to do a revamped tendency for every single player, so you guys can look forward to that. All contracts have been updated to reflect next year. All ages and years pro are reflected accurately, as well as for the rookies and stuff. And as I said, this is going to get a ton of updates all throughout the offseason. I've already got all the trades in here right now. I got the Serge Ibaka, Victor Oladipo trade. Obviously, I have the Derrick Rose trade. I have Thad Young and Jeff Teague on the Pacers, George Hill on the Jazz, Domantas Sabonis also on the Thunder now. Just a lot of those trades I have in the game already. I don't think I'm missing any at the time that this video is being recorded, but I'm going to try to stay on top of that. I did last year pretty well, and once we get into free agency, things are going to start really ramping up, and the roster will get a lot of changes, and it'll become a lot more fun to play with once we get into free agency and stuff. So I'm going to stay on top of all those updates. You guys can look forward to it. Make sure to follow me on Twitter so you can keep up with the updates. I'm telling you, Twitter is 100,000% the best place to keep up with updates, ask questions, talk to me, give feedback, anything like that. I'm super active on Twitter, and I'm not as active as I should be or I can be on YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. So I think that's it. Oh, I want to say something about salary cap real fast for my league. I talked about this in my previous video, but I want to reiterate it. If you're using my roster in my league, you have to turn the salary cap slider up to 95, because especially once free agency starts, because the contracts this year with the salary cap rising in the real NBA, the contracts are going to be insane, and if you don't turn that salary cap slider up to 95, things can break pretty easily. That's why I don't recommend even playing my GM with this roster, just because you can't change the salary cap. That's something, there's really no workaround. There's nothing I can do. If guys sign contracts, I guess really the only thing I could think of to be able to combat that with the normal salary cap would be to calculate and adjust all of the real contracts to what they would be with a lower salary cap. But that would just be a very, very long, tedious, confusing process that I just don't have the time to go through. So I recommend using this in my league, and if you do, 100% turn the salary cap slider up to 95. And I also recommend removing the hard cap as well, just in case. So that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the support on the roster last night. Absolutely insane. I'm super excited to continue to update this throughout the offseason and give you guys the best roster overall. Also, make sure to follow Pete on Twitter as well. I'll link him down in the description. Go give him a huge thanks. He is seriously the biggest help in the entire world, especially with the European players, and he's always willing to help out, and he does the tendencies and stuff like that. Just a very big help. So make sure to go thank him as well, because I do not deserve all of the credit for this roster. I'm going to go ahead and sign out now. I'm going to let the video play for a while just so you guys can see some more of the rookies in the game. Let me know what you think of the roster down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys later.
This is a Chucky Beat production.